I fear I may be on the brink of obsession, and I am a full decade late. I just made a video where I reacted to the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, the first one, and at the end of that video I said basically something along the lines of, it was probably a good movie for a fan of the games, but I just don't think it was for me, and I probably won't be interested in watching the sequel. So I made that video, and then I could not stop thinking about that movie. I really found myself just ruminating and pondering on the premise and the characters and the setting of the movie and the franchise as a whole, obviously. And this probably makes me sound like the most normie fake fan ever, but it really made me more interested in what the FNAF lore actually is, because it's something I've heard a lot about growing up, but it's not something that I'm super familiar with. Even though I grew up surrounded by the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, I had a bunch of friends who were really into it, I never played the games myself, not even once. Like, I live under a gaming rock. It's just me, my hot pink Nintendo DS, and my childhood copy of Donkey Kong Country Returns down here. And to me, some of the most iconic and recognizable and memorable parts of the franchise are the songs, which I was shocked to find out very recently are actually fan-made. I thought they were official. I am no stranger to crazy, convoluted, bonkers, bananas lore, and I thought it would be kind of fun if I made it my goal to gather as much information about the FNAF lore as I possibly can without a single second of gameplay. Today I'm going to try and piece together as much of the lore as I can, only by listening to the songs and analyzing their lyrics, and nothing else. So let's start with what I do know, which is not much. Obviously, I've seen the first film. The sequel is out today. I haven't seen it yet, even though I actually kind of do really want to. There are, I believe, 4 Five Nights at Freddy's games. With the way things are going, I'm assuming they're going to make 1 film per game at this rate. I have no idea how they vary across installments. I'm assuming they introduce different animatronics or maybe set them at different locations, but I'm thinking maybe that's not the case because I also know there's a game called Sister Location, which to my knowledge is about a different location that has the same kind of stuff going on. I believe there is also a game called Help Wanted. I have no idea what it's about. I'm trying to conjure up images in my head, and all I can see is Markiplier. And the most recent installment in the series came this year with Secret of the Mimic. There's like a clown, I think, and Edwin is somehow involved. There's a kid named David. All of my knowledge comes from that one song. You guys know what I'm talking about. The premise of the series is that you are a night guard. Initially, I assumed this was just an unnamed night guard, sort of like a player avatar, but I think the character canonically is a guy named Mike, and you are working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, which I always want to call Hoo Ha Owl's Pizza-Matronic Jamboree. Presumably, you are working there for 5 nights, after which I assume the evil has been defeated, or you get so scared that you quit, maybe. Freddy Fazbear's is like a Chuck E. Cheese situation. It's got an arcade and a stage with performing animatronics, and the animatronics get quirky at night. I have no idea if that's a line from one of the games or if it's just like an in-joke among the fandom. There's Freddy Fazbear, the bear, not to be confused with Freddy Fasano, a character from the hit TV show Smoke, which we all watched and we loved it, right? It was so good. Chica, the chicken, Bonnie, the bunny, and Foxy, who is a fox, and I think in later installments they have different versions of them. I think they have toy versions, and I remember seeing an image where they all look like rock stars. There's also a golden Freddy, I believe, who has kind of like a Sans Undertale eye thing going on. Later installments also introduce different animatronics. I think there's like marionette puppets, and there's the one that looks like kind of like a little girl. She has pigtails, I think. All of these animatronics, at least the main 4, have corpses of children inside possessing them and driving them to kill people, which eventually caused Freddy Fazbear's to be shut down after an incident which is known as the Bite of 87, where one of the animatronics like killed a kid. Although I think I remember seeing somewhere that the scene Markiplier was reacting to was not the Bite of 87 and was actually a separate incident that happened in 1983. I don't know how you let that sort of thing happen twice, but I don't have any experience managing this type of establishment. It's probably harder than it looks. That would lead me to assume the series takes place in the 80s, but I don't know for sure. I thought it took place in the modern day and that the pizzeria had been closed from 1987 to the present when you, the night guard, get hired, but the movie had a very 80s look to it and like everybody was using landlines, so I don't know. And there's a character called the man behind the slaughter, which I think is such a cool phrase. I believe this is supposed to be William Afton, which was Matthew Lillard's character in the movie. I think he owned Freddy Fazbear's. He's involved with it somehow, and he killed the children that are inside at least the main 4 animatronics. I don't know what's going on with the other ones. He gets locked inside one of his suits and then becomes the character of Springlock, or maybe Springtrap. I don't know if those are 2 different characters or if I'm just confused somehow. And one of my biggest questions after watching the movie was who the hell the purple guy is. I've been seeing a lot of chatter about a purple guy, but he can't be the purple guy because his suit is yellow, so that is also a bit of a mystery to me. There is a lot of music in game. As far as I know, it's just like instrumental ambient pieces. I think they're just like music box renditions of classical music, because I know the like and I also know from being subscribed to Siva Gunner that there's a track called Circus, but from being subscribed to Siva Gunner, I have no idea what that song could possibly sound like. It could literally be anything. I kind of thought that the fan-made songs would be inspired by the in-game music, maybe sonically or stylistically, but it doesn't seem like it. It all seems a lot more electronic, but I could be totally wrong about that. So like I said, I am already familiar with a good handful of the songs going into this video. I've heard a lot of them just from being online in the past 10 years, and I honestly don't think they're half bad. I like what I've heard so far. However, as much as I like the music, the lyrics are a complete riddle to me. So I figured the best way to go about this would be to go through the most popular FNAF songs chronologically. Maybe I should go through all the Five Nights at Freddy's Siva Gunner rips just to see if I can glean any of the— never mind. I feel like we have to start with The Living Tombstone, arguably the biggest name in FNAF music. We're gonna start with Five Nights at Freddy's 1 song. Let's take a look at these lyrics. We're forced to be still and play the same songs we've known since that day. An imposter took our life away, now we're stuck here to decay. Okay, so it seems to me this is pretty obvious. It's from the perspective of the kids that are inside the suits. They were killed by an imposter. They're stuck on stage, presumably performing Talking in Your Sleep by the Romantics over and over again. But these lyrics, I think, would imply that Freddy Fazbear's is still open if they're doing performances every day. So I'm not sure what happened with that, because the lyrics later go on to say they've been stuck in their little zone since 1987, which I thought was when the pizzeria closed after the bite of 87. So I'm not sure I've learned anything from this song that I did not already know, but it was a fun listening experience. Moving on to Five Nights at Freddy's 2 song by The Living Tombstone. Loving this naming convention. It's exactly what it says on the tin. I don't know what I was thinking, leaving my child behind. Now I suffer the curse, and now I am blind. Okay, this is different. This I can work with. My guess is that this is from William's perspective. He did have a child in the movie. He had a daughter named Vanessa, but I have no idea if she was made up for the film or if she was in the games. I'm hoping she wasn't in the games because I don't like her, but that's neither here nor there. With all this anger, guilt, and sadness coming to haunt me forever, I can't wait for the cliff at the end of the river. The man behind the slaughter is feeling guilty about the slaughter. Maybe the cliff at the end of the river has significance in one of the games. I didn't even know that you could go outside in any of those games. I thought you were just kind of in the building the whole time, so that's news to me. And the chorus goes, "It's been so long since I last have seen my son, lost to this monster, to the man behind the slaughter." Okay, this is the first I'm hearing about a son. So I guess he had a son that he has since become alienated from because of, murder. He's a serial killer of children. Or maybe he killed his son. We don't know. Or maybe his son is alive and running around somewhere. Is Josh Hutcherson the son? That'd be crazy. But killing isn't justified. What happened to my son? I'm terrified. I'm thinking maybe the son is probably dead, and maybe William had some sort of hand in his death, and maybe that's why he kills people? I think I have a better understanding of the character, but his motivations are a little fuzzy to me. Okay, so this is Five Nights at Freddy's 3 song, Die in a Fire. So this is the first of the titles to actually give us some information about what's going on. I haven't really been taking the music videos into account up until this point, but the music video for this song shows a guy with an axe murdering a bunch of animatronics. I'm assuming these last two songs have been from the perspective of William Afton. So in the second song, it sounded like he was feeling remorseful about killing these kids and sticking them into animatronics, but now he's like hacking them to bits. So I'm really not sure like what his end game is here, and I'm still not fully confident that I know who he is. Who is the purple guy? Who the hell is this guy? So maybe it would help if we took a hop, skip, and a jump over to Sister Location. This is Join Us for a Bite, one of the most famous songs I think to ever come from this series, and this is that little girl pigtail animatronic that I mentioned earlier. I don't know how she factors into this. I don't know why we're getting more humanoid animatronics now, but I think it's kind of fun. I like her design. And I want to point out this music video is so impressively animated. Like, it's really cool. Can't wait to meet you. So join the animatronic family. See, this one, I remember the melody a lot better. Okay, this is my official guess. The plot of Sister Location is that Freddy Fazbear's is either reopening or opening a different location after the events of the first 4 games. I'm always watching because somebody purple murdered me. Is that a different guy? Because to me, the implication is that after Spring Lock/Trap got locked in the suit, that's not really a pickle you can escape from. You're kind of just in that suit for life. Here's my theory. Spring Lock is the yellow guy, Matthew Lillard, William Afton. Spring Trap is the purple guy, who's William Afton's son, who we thought was dead, but isn't. Who knows if you're the one to blame, because we don't even know your name. But you're here now, and we've got temptations. So these kids are being held in a basement, being made into new animatronics, and they don't know who did this to them, but they see us, this new night guard, and they get hungry and they want to eat us. Because that was something I was still kind of unclear about, whether or not the animatronics actually eat people. I wasn't sure why they would need to, because they're robots and the children inside of them are dead, but it seems like they do eat people, and if that's the case, I don't know how they digest. Below the Surface was also written for Sister Location, and from this first glance, the lyrics seem to have a similar theme. He was the one that made us, you'll be the one to save us. So this is kind of a differing perspective from Join Us for a Bite. Whoever's singing this is fully aware that Springtrap, the purple guy, William Afton's son, right, because we've all decided that that's his son, is the one that murdered them and all of the other kids, and they're looking to us to save them. So perhaps Sister Location involves breaking the animatronics out of Freddy Fazbear's and letting them loose into the wild like the end of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And then you have like animatronics running around eating lions at the zoo. Underground, Welcome to the Circus. This, I think, maybe we're not the night guard at all. We are a brand new animatronic, and this is maybe a more seasoned animatronic introducing us to the way things are gonna be. And maybe it is from the perspective of the little puppet girl being like, I'm a fucking clown, and you gon' join the circus. You know I'm a hoe. Below the Surface, built without purpose. Did we deserve this? You're here to serve. This is consistent with my previous theory. These animatronics are being assembled in a Freddy Fazbear basement and made to perform, which I guess still doesn't make a ton of sense because I thought the building was closed, but whatever. Okay, the last song I had selected for this video was going to be Stuck Inside by Black Griffin, but it turns out that maybe this guy is not a person that I want to be giving views to. So instead, I'm going to pivot over to one of my favorite Siva Gunner rips that uses the vocal stems from Stuck Inside, set to the instrumental for Hand Crushed by a Mallet by 100 Gex. It's incredible. I thought their souls were gone, something's wrong, so I need to put an end to everyone. I'm putting the pieces together, you guys. This is William Afton returning to Freddy Fazbear's after initially murdering the main 4 kids and putting them inside the main 4 animatronics. He thought they were dead, did not realize that their souls are still possessing the animatronics, and they hate him now, and that's why he has to kill them, which is what we saw in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 song. It's alright, I'll be fine, safe inside. This is him hiding inside of his Springlock suit, but who is he hiding from? Springtrap, aka the purple guy, aka his own son. He had previously believed his son was dead, possibly by his own hand, but now his son has returned to exact his revenge. I'd recognize him anywhere. That purplish figure was bigger and quicker than me, and then I thought I was dreaming. He looked like a demon, and I remember bleeding and screaming and thinking nobody could hear me. So exactly what William had done to the 4 children is now happening to him at the hands of his son. His son has killed him, stuffed him inside the Springlock suit, and left him to bleed to death, thinking he's no longer an issue. But much like Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy, William's soul is still inside the Springlock suit, and he is fully conscious of what has happened to him. For what he did to me, he's gonna die. The others agree he needs to die. Will never be free until he dies. Him and the children he has killed are now uniting against a common enemy. 5 lives gone before their time. Now they're sustaining mine. It's possible that these animatronics need to eat people to sustain their soul energy and to stay alive. Now a group of 5 animatronics, they are using their combined possessive powers to retaliate against Springlock, William Afton's son, who is probably not Josh Hutcherson. And I know I said Stuck Inside was going to be the last song, but I can't wrap this video up without talking about Jackie's Box. I am so obsessed with this song, you guys have no idea. It is so incredible to me. This song is the only thing I know about Secret of the Mimic. So here's what I think. This game does not take place at Freddy Fazbear's, but at the sister location where we saw the little girl animatronic. Also, I kind of ship her with Harold. Wouldn't that be so cute? There is a creature called the Mimic who looks like an exoskeleton or like the framework for one of these animatronics. And because it's called the Mimic, it's capable of mimicking other people's voices. It was made by a guy named Edwin. I don't know how he factors into any of this at all. And maybe the Mimic, to lure in its child victims, poses as this little Jack-in-the-Box character named Jackie. And the Mimic's first victim was a kid named David.
What?
Who was, well, okay, I guess David wasn't killed by one of the animatronics. He was hit by a car. Maybe I'm just not meant to understand everything. And I will let Jackie's Box remain a mystery until the end of time. So what did I learn? Well, expanding upon my previous knowledge of the franchise, I now know that there are 2 Freddy Fazbear locations. One hosts the original 4 animatronics, and the other hosts a little clown girl. And also, a little clown girl. These animatronics are possessed by the ghosts of children. I already knew that, but now I know that they need to eat people to stay alive. And the story that we know so far culminates in William Afton joining forces with the children possessing Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy to take down his son by the name of Springtrap, aka the purple guy. But unfortunately, I have gained no additional information on the Bite of 87. I don't know where it took place, I don't know who this animatronic is that did it, and I still don't really know why or how it happened. I also don't know where Golden Freddy comes from or any of the toy animatronics, and I'm also pretty sure that all of the information I have gathered up until this point is wrong. But you know what? I had a lot of fun, and that's what matters. Even as someone who never played the games, the world of Five Nights at Freddy's has always been so fascinating to me. Even though I never played it, it was like a huge phenomenon growing up, so I still have a lot of nostalgia attached to it. I have a lot of respect for the franchise for becoming so successful and having so much staying power, and I have even more respect for the fans for being so creative and dedicated. There are so many talented artists and musicians and game theorists in this fandom. I think it would have been so fun to have played this game from the beginning and follow it all the way up until this point where it's become a blockbuster movie franchise and it's become like an event to go see it in theaters. I think that must feel really cool, and I think the camaraderie and kinship between fans is really special. I just love the idea and the concept of fandom, that a million strangers can all find connection through this shared interest on the internet, and I really enjoyed just like watching through the glass as a casual observer. That's gonna be all from me. I've got to go. I am late for work. I just got this new job as a night guard at like this pizzeria thing. Anyways, I'll let y'all know how it goes. Bye!